Welcome everyone to our LifeWave Connect Business Webinar for the month of June. My name is Gerrit Johnson. I'm the U.S. and Canada General Manager. It's my privilege and my opportunity to be here with you today to be able to go through what I think is going to be an amazing training and understanding and knowledge you're going to gain is going to be amazing. And so we are so excited that you're here today with us. And we have a lot of information to cover, but I am excited to be able to introduce each of you to our new, to our presenter that's going to be here with us today. Marci Preble is an incredible leader here at LifeWave. She's one of our senior presidential directors. She has an amazing career spanning this industry for many years. She's distinguished herself through her exceptional leadership skills and unwavering dedication in helping others achieve their health and business goals. Now, Marci's journey in LifeWave began with a personal transformation that fueled her passion for the company's mission. Her success is a testament to her strategic mindset and her ability to foster a culture of duplication within her team. And I think that's something I think is quite powerful, is that concept of duplication. She's not only one of our top achievers in the company, but also a mentor and inspiration to many, known for her ability in cultivating a strong, cohesive team that develops future leaders, which is part of our topic today as well. As a senior presidential director, Marci also plays a pivotal role in shaping the strategic direction of her team and the broader organization, which again, I think speaks testaments to who she is, because she's willing to help everybody, regardless of whose team she's on. Her commitment to excellence and her innovative approach to leadership have made her a respected figure here at LifeWave and throughout our entire community. Marci's dedication to wellness, empowerment, and continuous improvement exemplifies the core values of LifeWave, making her an integral part of the company's success. So Marci, please welcome and thank you for being on with us today.
Wow. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here with you, Gerrit. And I want to thank you for everything you do for us and LifeWave as a whole. We are so blessed, all of us, to be here at this time now.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to as we look to the growth and the exciting things that are happening. We just had, here in North America in particular, had our best month ever. In the month of May. June is already starting very strong. And it really is a testament to a lot of people doing things the right way. When we look in our industry and we see some of the challenges that maybe some other companies are having, we're not seeing that here. And I really do believe it's a testament to you, your team, and of course, many of our other leaders throughout here that are just doing amazing things and just sharing this amazing technology with people. And so part of what we're going to talk about today is this concept about, building a business and then also building leadership within that. And, as we get going through this, Marci, you've been one that since I've been here, I've been here almost 2 years now, that has really set the standard of what good leadership is. It's nurturing, it's supporting, it's being willing to put the time and effort into your team, and continue to do so. And I know that as I've worked with you and I've worked with many of the leaders on your team, they speak so highly of you and everything that you're doing. So we're certainly grateful for who you are and what you're doing, but also that you're here with us to share some of that knowledge and understanding with our entire LifeWave family.
Oh, I'm happy to do it today. And I do believe that we have the most innovative technology in the world. We have great field leadership, and we have great systems of duplication. And that's what makes a perfect storm, Gerrit, to build momentum. And that is why we're doing so well as a company. And it's an exciting time for all of us, really.
Really is. And I have the opportunity to kind of keep an eye on what's happening on a day-to-day basis and where the company's growth is and what's happening. And, it is definitely an exciting time. We always talk about, it's our best month ever. And I hope nobody kind of gets to a point where they're like, get used to that, because that is not necessarily the norm for most companies. It has been here, but I hope we take it and really understand what that means, is to continue to see growth, month after month. And so it's a very exciting time.
Gerrit, I'm just saying one thing and then we can switch.
Please.
I've been a network marketer for over 15 years, and I have prayed for momentum the right timing, the right company, the right product. I prayed for it. And then, 5 years ago, the patch found me and I didn't even see it coming. And here it is. So yes, it's pretty exciting. But back to you.
No, well, that's it. And ultimately, we're here to hear kind of your story, what you're all about, and what you have to share with us. But and maybe what we can do is have you start off with just kind of sharing a little bit about your story. And then when you're ready, you can just kind of start going into, because I know you have a presentation prepared. I've had a chance to see parts of it before at our boot camp, and I'm telling you, you're going to want to take good notes, get a pen and paper if you don't already have it. There's going to be a lot of amazing information you're going to want to get. But yeah, I'm really excited. So when you're ready to share that as well, please do. But yeah, go ahead and
I can just
give us a little bit more about your story.
Yeah. So, I've been a professional network marketer for 15 years. I've been trained by some of the greatest. I became a good student a long time ago, and I was praying for a long time for the right company, and it just wasn't coming. But what did come was fast-growing cells. And that was in 2017, and it put me out for quite a while. And then in 2019, Dr. Rhonda Donahue came to my house with these patches, and the patch found me. 10 of them found me, 12 hours on, 12 hours off. And by the end of 10 days, I felt joy again. And I hadn't felt joy in a long time, Gerrit. So much so, I called her up like I was a 20-year-old. And I said, oh my gosh, we're going to change the world. I said, you want to make a list? She goes, okay. And we started sharing. And so with that, I will show you what we've been doing over the last 5 years. And I'm just going to do the PowerPoint here. And we're going to go ahead and get it into the mode where you can see it. We see that okay, Gerrit?
Yeah, it looks great.
Okay, great. So Gerrit asked me to do a presentation about leadership and about building team. And so leadership's at the end, but at the beginning, to build a team, you have to do the work. And then you train your people to do the exact same work. And then you have a team. It's called duplication. We all do the same thing together. I am no different than you. I just do the work. And then I say, who wants to come do the work with me? And off we go. So to do the work, you first have to set some goals. And so right now, I want you to get a piece of paper and a pen out, because everyone should have a notebook. And professional network marketers have about 50 of these. You could see my chair over there. I think I have 50, because we never stop taking notes. We always learn. So if you don't have a notebook, go buy one. And if not, get a piece of paper right now, because we're going to set some goals. So how much money do you want to make each week? Do you want to make $500 a week, $1,000 a week, $10,000 a week, $25,000 a week? What do you really want to make? Now we're talking the business, right? The business. And when you want to make money, you do have to work. I know a lot of people join network marketing and they go, it doesn't work. And I say, well, did you work? Right? Because it is work. Just like when you're a real estate agent, only 5% make any money because they work. So then you need to say, well, how many hours do you want to work each week? Like, really, what do you want to do? And a lot of people say, oh, I want to work 20 hours a week, 40 hours a week, 100 hours a week. Great. But usually it's the wrong work. So they're spending all this time doing things like looking all over YouTube, looking at all the sites, just research, right? You know why? Because they have fear of actually exposing, actually talking to people. So that's what they do instead. And they wonder why they're not building a business. So I'm going to tell you how many hours a week that I think, if you do the right work, you need to do to make great money. You ready? This is going to blow you all away. 10 hours a week of the right work. And I'm going to tell you what the right work is. And you can write this down. 1 hour a day contacting people. Let's just say 5 hours a week. 3 people a day. That's all you need to contact consistently every day. That would be 1 hour, 1 hour a day, 5 days a week. How many hours is that? I'm not great with math, so you might all have to help me. Put it in chat. How many hours is that? It's 5 hours, right? Then, how many hours a week do you need to be looking at some type of podcast? Your team podcast, LifeWave podcast, whatever event is happening. Well, I say 4 times a week, 30 minutes. They're usually each about 30 minutes. So what's that? It's 2 hours a week of podcasts. Why? You need to hear the stories so you can repeat them. And you need to invite your people to hear them. That's all we do is invite. So there's 2 hours. Then about 3 hours a week of training, 2 hours that teach you how to do the work, and maybe an hour that teach you like back office and compensation plan, the money you make by doing the work, right? Different kinds of trainings, 3 hours. So if you add that together, Gerrit, I think we have 5 plus 2 plus 3, 5 hours a week of work. But it's the right work, right? So let's talk about if you do 3 people a day, and that's doing the 3 people a day, and you're inviting, and we'll get into that in a minute, right? 3 people a day, and you're inviting them to something, inviting them to a podcast, inviting them to a training, inviting them to a patching party, inviting them to a link on the LifeWave app, inviting, right? And you do 3 a day. Let's see how many contacts that is. 3 a day times 5 is 15, times 52 weeks. Did you know that's 780 contacts a year? That's a lot of contacts, right? And did you know that as a professional network marketer, most network marketers enroll about 100 on wholesale pack and auto ships, 100 brand partners. So if you're contacting 3 a day, 5 days a week for 1 hour only, and you get to do 780 a year, do you think you can do 100 without attachment? That's the key. Without attachment. You are of service. You are a teacher. You're not a salesperson. You just want to share the information, and people will come when they come. It may not be when you want them to come, but they'll come when they come. It may never come. But if you put the work out there, it always comes back. It just may not be who you think. I'll give you an example. My mother, I put on my list 5 years ago. She just finally started wearing X39 on an IceWave on her hip because she needs hip surgery, but because she's having some issues with her brain, she can't have it. And she's hurting. The woman I love the most is hurting, but she wouldn't wear the technology until now. And now my 91-year-old father is putting those little patches on her hip every night. And we'll see what happens. So don't worry. It's okay if they say no or if they kind of poo-poo you at first. It happens. I'm my own mother, right? So 780 contacts, 100. So let's talk about that. 50 of those 100 will love the product. Some of them will ship every month. Some of them may go off auto ship. It happens. 40 that's 50 people. About 40 other people will do the business to some degree. And 10 people will be, as Peter Knows says, your workout buddies. They are in it with you and they build. You know, it's about 10 people that build my entire business, and they're people's, quite honestly. And you want to put some on your right side and some on your left side, even your power. Little lesson there. Okay? So that's why that's important. Okay? So everybody got that down? How much money do you want to make? How many hours work each week do you want to do? And how many people do you want to contact each week? Oops, I forgot that. How many people do you want to contact each week? Well, if you're going to contact 3 a day, that would be 15 a week, right? To 780 a year. Did you guys all get that? You should write that down, because the amount of money you make directly corresponds to the kind of work you're doing and the amount of people you're contacting. Let me give you a little hint, Gerrit. Whoever contacts the most wins. That's all this business is. Okay? So create a schedule. Go buy yourself a calendar book that books on the hour like a hairdresser. Block out the time you're going to work your income-producing activities. I just told you what the work is. Block out the time. Now, if you're like me, and Gerrit, don't laugh at me. I don't know if people can even see this, but probably not. That's my calendar book. It's crazy. I book on the hour. I should probably book on the half an hour. Dr. Stacy books on the half an hour. So if you're a workaholic like me, then you need to book out the time you don't work. But you see what I'm saying? So why? Because we water our prospects with love by booking the next appointment. Water with love. Non-attachment with love. Not with pushy, with love. Why? Because it takes people time to make a buying decision. The first 1 to 4 waterings are going to close at 10%. The 5th watering, you close at 80%. I'm just booking the next watering, the next watering, the next watering. I send a link. I send a site. I invite them to a podcast. I invite them to a patchy party. I might send a little gift of 2X39 and 2 Eon. Each one of those is a watering until they're ready for what? Their wholesale back and auto ship. And then we do it again. Okay? So go get yourself a calendar book. Now, some of you guys were born in whatever year. I was born in 1967. I'm old. I still use a paper calendar book because I can't figure out the darn link. And I don't really care if you use a paper calendar book or if you use a scheduling link. Just do a calendar. When you start actually putting it in the intention or you write it down, it becomes real. Okay. Oh, and also, your calendar book tells me your business. If somebody says to me, I'm not duplicating, nothing works. You know what I say to them? Let me see your calendar book. Usually they're empty. Contact your people. So how are you going to do that? Well, this is fun. You're going to go buy yourself the list book. Once again, I was born in 67. So there's my list book. It's a different book, a different color than my notebook, right? And what are you going to do? Well, I always put with a black marker. I learned this from Dr. Stacy. You write down the intention that you have. I do it with like a marker. And this is what I write on my list book. You can write it on your list book now, or you can write it on a piece of paper and then transfer it when you get a list book. Here we go. Here's what you write. LifeWave, the holy grail of optimal health. Have you heard about wearable light technology? Who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? Right now, what I want you to do is look in your phone as I'm talking to you, and I want you to be following me with this. You're going to do a list of 10, their name and cell number. We're going to do it right now. In fact, get your phones right now and look. Did you know your phone is your money? I don't know if any of you have done this, but you can go to your contacts and go all the way to the bottom, and you can see how many contacts are in your phone. If you can figure that out, go in chat and say how many you got. I got 1,000 contacts. I got 500. I got 10,000. I got 5,000. That's just your phone. Do you know most people have so much in their phone that they never actually contact? And it's right there. Then you can go to Messenger and LinkedIn and Instagram, and there's a whole bunch of more people on those messages. Same thing. So right now, you're going to get a piece of paper and a pen out, and you're going to list 1 through 10. I make it super easy, you guys. Their name and their cell phone number. And I put it here because it makes it real when it's in my list book. If I don't get it on the book, I don't call them. I don't text them. I do nothing. Okay? I think about it, and then I lose them. Write it down. So here we go. Who do you know that you respect? Who do you know that you respect? You know, the person that, like, they might just have a great network. They're huge business people. They build community. Everybody does what they do. They're really great at whatever they do. You know, they're better than me, and it's okay. I'm not the best at everything, but I will put on my list somebody that is. I want those people. So who do you know that you respect? Look in your phone right now. Who are those people that you respect? I respected Dr. Rhonda Donahue so much. She's been my friend for 20 years. She's a professional network marketer, and she's a healthcare practitioner that cared that I live. Truly, I respect her. We came on each other's list at the exact same time. Who do you know that you love? Look in your phone. Look now. Who do you love? I love my mother. I do not want her hurting anymore. I'm so excited that she's been on my list for 5 years, and now she's wearing the patches. I love her. Who do you know that you love? Look in your phone right now. You should be doing the work now. You should be in your phones, writing the name and the cell number right now as I'm talking. You shouldn't be looking at me. You should be writing the name and cell numbers down. Garrett, do 10 for me too. I'll take your list. I'm just kidding.
Absolutely.
Who do you know that...
I was actually looking at my list too, going, I wonder how many people are in my phone, you know?
You're right. You probably have a ton.
I've got a few. I was actually surprised. So yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, there's a lot of names there.
But so who do you know that you can help with their health? My friend Gail, she is one of those girls that ran for 20 years. She had that really bad lower back pain. She was always hurting. I sent her X39 Eon and IceWave, and I said, just pop the spot with the lot. What spot? The lower back. She did. She's now a presidential director in my company. Okay? Who do you know you can help with the health? Okay. Oh, these are good ones. You ready? Who do you know that you would want to build a business with? My friend Jan Rand. Some of you know her. She's a workaholic. Don't you want a workaholic in your business? She does everything. The people in my organization know. She does countless hours of helping all of us build a business. She was on my list. Her and Peter No and Mariah Thomas Wolf were my 3 people that were my first 3 on my list. I call it the juicy 10. You're making your juicy 10 right now. What do I mean by that? The 10 that are really juicy. And 3 of my 10 built some of the biggest business today for me. So who do you know that you want to build a business with? Who do you know that has influence? Okay, I'm not this girl. I'm actually a closet introvert. Nobody really knows that because I pretend to be an extrovert, but I'm really a closet introvert. But I know girls that are full-on extroverts. My friend Liz, she has 20 girls hanging out with her all the time. They go skiing together. They go out to dinner. She's a hairdresser. Everybody does whatever Liz does. Liz is on my list, and she just started my business. And, of course, she's a hairdresser. So what am I going to do? I'm going to say, well, let's talk to all your hairdresser friends. Let's put them on the list. Let's go do a meeting at the salon you work at. Oh, my gosh, Liz. Let's make a list of all your hairdressers that work in other salons. Do you see what I mean? I'm going to work through her influence. Who do you know that's a progressive healthcare practitioner? Look in your phone. Who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? You know the ones. They do the cranial sacral. They do the muscle testing. They're acupuncturists. They're light. They work with all the new lights, the cold lasers, the red light saunas. Those people. Who do you know? I'll tell you a story. I met one of those people 10 years ago. He's a chiropractor at Tarzana. His name's Dr. Joel. Some of you might know who he is. And he connected me a long time ago with a whole other company to his friend, Dr. Tim. And then again for this company. And guess what? Dr. Tim is a chiropractor in Kona who patched someone, who told someone, and now Susan is building a huge business in Hawaii because of a connection 10 years ago that connected me. Who do you know? You never know who that person is going to connect you to as long as you stay with them. I never, ever lose my connections. Okay, who do you know that's an entrepreneur? You know the ones. They work 3 different businesses all at one time. Mariah, I met her 10 years ago in Sedona. We were all sitting at dinner, and she was the one that had this, what's that called? They hang around their neck, lacquer. I don't know what those things are called, Gerrit. The little lacquered things. And she had 5 different types of business cards in there. And she started handing different cards for different things. And she said, oh, I do this. I thought, and a network marketer is always watching and asking questions to see if they fit what network marketers are, which are list makers. They make lists, they work lists with scripts, and they build community. That's what network marketers are. So I was like, ooh, I think she might be one of those. And so then a little later, after I took all her cards, this was in another company, I said, oh, well, I'm doing this. She joined. Now, 10 years later, she joined here too, as an example. Also, I was in Arizona and I was sitting by this girl. Oh gosh, I hope I can remember it. I'm sorry, Marie. She owns care homes. She owns a spa. She wants to be a network marketer in this product line. And oh gosh, she was doing one other thing in addition. I think real estate. I mean, the woman does a lot of different businesses. Hi, my name's Marci. What's your name? What do you do? You can learn a lot with that question. You can learn a lot, right? Who do you know that's a network marketer? Right now, I want you to write down in chat what other network marketing company you've been in. Just write it down. You know the ones. Write it down or write it on your piece of paper. Who do you know that's a network marketer? You have one of them in your phone. We love network marketers because they understand the work. Peter No was one of those. He always worked 3 businesses at one time. I was just hoping when I learned about this, my very first person on the list was him. We drove to his little office. I had 5 X39 in a plastic bag. I gave him one. I asked him what businesses he was doing. He told me, I said, are they all doing well? He said, yes. I asked how many are on each Zoom, because that's how you know. He said one of his companies, there were 5 people on the Zoom. Well, you know that we get anywhere. Like right now, we have 564. So you can understand 5 people on a Zoom is not a lot. So I knew I had a chance. I gave him the badge. He called me the next day and he goes, I can see better. And my girlfriend has cats and I'm always allergic. And I'm not allergic. I can breathe. That was the beginning. He was a network marketer. So a little hint, put people in your phone correctly. Your phone is your money. Their first name, their last name, under company, you want to put what they are. I'll tell you, for my friend Jan Rand, she's Jan Rand. When I first met her, she was a massage therapist. So I put massage therapist. Then I put the network marketing company I met her in, which was not this one. It was a different one. Then I put where she lives, OC. And then I put who I met her through, my friend Michael. I can, in my phone, pull up Jan Rand 5 different ways for making lists. Are you understanding? We're list makers. Who do you know? Who do you know? Everybody made their list of 10, their name and their cell number. I want you to put it in chat right now. I did my 10. I did my 10. I did my 10. Now, once you do your 10, you can then go and from your phone, you can do what I said before, Instagram, Facebook, Messenger. I hear LinkedIn works really good now because they're all business-like, right? So then expand. Remember, your first 10 is juicy. You make your first 10, then you add more and add more and add more. Here's a little hint. If your first 10 is juicy, don't you think all the people that you've ever put in this business, their first 10 is good too? You should be helping them make their list too. I'll give you a story. So my mentor was about 10 years ago, and I was so excited because I was a network marketer doing my product. And I was calling on doctor offices because, you see, I came from working at Ralston Purina as a little sales rep. So that's what I thought a network marketer was. So I came to her and I said, do you want to come join my company? This is what I do. And she goes, well, you're not a network marketer. You're a sales rep. I don't want to do that. And she never signed up with me. A year later, she found a company and I signed up with her and then she trained me. And the very first thing she did is she goes, Marci, network marketers are list makers. Who do you know? Who do you know? She sat me at her table and we made my first list of 10. And I was scared. It was scary to put that list down. She said, we're going to turn fear into fun. Don't you worry. We're going to do it together. I said, I'm too scared to pick up the phone. She goes, don't worry. I'll do it. She picks up the phone. She starts calling, hey, I'm Marci's friend. The blah, 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 right? Like what I realized is she got me in the groove of we are list making. So help your people do it. So, this is fun. You can also go belly to belly to increase your list. What do I mean? I talk to people everywhere. Why not? Starbucks, on the airplane. Oh my gosh. Carol McDonald's told me a story. You ready for another story, Gerrit? I learned this. I see you learn stuff all the time. She goes, I fly Southwest. I go, why do you fly Southwest? She goes, so I can be in the B group. Why do you want to be in the B group? Doesn't everybody want to be in the A group? Oh no. The B group, you come in second so you can see who you want to talk to. Because we're always recruiting. I thought, oh my gosh, you're a genius. So what do I mean by that? My name is, what is your name? So my name, hi, Gerrit. Hi, Gerrit. My name's Marci. What's your name?
My name's Gerrit.
I want to know your name. Hold on. I'm at Starbucks. Hi, I'm Marci. What's your name? Gerrit was
My name's Gerrit.
Well,
Yeah.
what do you do?
I'm a general manager for a network marketing company.
Oh my gosh, how wonderful. I'm in light technology. Do you have a card?
You know, I don't, but I'm happy to share some details with you.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I have a card. Let me give you my card. Can I get your cell number? And we'll talk. I might even be able to have a little gift for you that you might like later.
All right. Very good.
So what did I just do there? My name is Marci. What's your, like kindergarten. Do you remember when we used to be in kindergarten and we go, hi, my name's Marci. What's your name? You want to play? Somehow we've forgotten how to do that. People are dying to be talked to. They're dying for you to come up. Here's a little homework. Go somewhere today. Starbucks, the grocery store, I don't know. Meet 3 people. Hi, my name's Marci. What's your name? And just talk to them. They will be so excited, especially after COVID. People have forgotten how to talk to each other. Or maybe with the cell phones, have you ever noticed everybody's just like this in their phone now? I mean, let's start talking again. and you give a card and get a number. And now, Gerrit, don't be mad at me when I say this, but I have to say, when I say, what do you do? So what do you do? And they, like in Hawaii, Carol goes, well, I'm a real estate agent. And I say, well, I'm light technology. Can I get your card? Do you know right away she gave me her card because she's in real estate. She's always in business. I gave her my card. Now, I've had some friends who I'm with, and I'll be with them, and I won't say what business, but they're in business, and they're talking, and someone goes, oh my gosh, I would really like to see you. Do you have a card? And this is what they do. Oh, I don't have a card. That tells me they're not in business, right? That gentleman, the one, I mean, he is a healthcare practitioner, right? He should have had a card to hand to the person who he was telling about his service. So I like to say, when you have a card, you give a card and get a number. It tells people you're in business. So make sure you get a business card. Be in business. And what the cards do is then it helps you add to your list. Hi, my name's Marci. What do you do? Oh, I'm in real estate. Oh, Carol, that's right. Great. I'm in wearable light technology. Do you have a card? Yes. Oh, so do I. I will send you some information. Here's my card. And I have your cell number. Great. Yes. And you know what? There's a technology that I think you'll love. And I can send you a gift, or I can invite you to something. Oh, great. And you've exchanged. And now you have a new person to put on your list. I kind of did that fast. Did that make sense, Gerrit?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So then what you do is you create your first list of 10. And we just did that. Always asking, who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? And we make lists in our warm market. And then we help our people make lists in their warm market. Remember, we're going warm market to warm market to warm market. Why? Warm is easier than cold. Trust me. Warm is easier than cold. So I'm going to make my first list of 10. And then when Peter came in, I said, Peter, who do you know? Let's make your list. When Jan came in, Jan, who do you know? Let's make your list. Mariah, who do you know? Let's make your list. I am always helping my people I bring in make their list, and so on and so on. And I even go to my organization binary tree every couple of days, and I say to myself, who do I know that's already on my binary that wants to learn how to share the business? And then I invite them to learn how to do that. Or who do I know in my binary tree that loves the product and would like to give me a list of 10 people they love that I can help with their people they love with this technology? A list of 10 is the same, whether it's who do you know that wants to share the business, or who do you know that wants to give a list of 10 people they love because they want to help them, like the technology has helped them. They want to help their people. It's the same thing. It's still a list of 10. We sometimes get with the semantics of it gets us kind of confused. I'm always working in my list of 10 plus another 10 plus another 10. Don't think it just ends with 10. No, 10 plus 10 plus 10. Remember, you're doing 3 a day. But then you have to remember to go work in your other people's lists with them. Most of my builders are 10 people away from me, 10 lists away from me, 10 lists away from me. I'll give you an example. I enrolled Mariah. We did a list of 10 with Mariah. Sean Zook was in the list. We did a list of 10 with Sean Zook. Kathleen Nichols was in the list. We did a list with Kathleen Nichols. Wendy Morgan was in the list. We did a list with Wendy Morgan. A woman she knew that did a YouTube was on her list, who a truck driver watched, who then shared it with April Vaughn, who then shared it with Dr. Stacy. Do you see how far those lists went to, how far those lists went? They went deep. And that was just helping people make lists. Some people say, oh, I'm going to go cold call. Great. Have a good time. That's great. You know, we do that too to add to our list, right? But I can probably find that same person in somebody's warm list and grab them faster. Okay. So we already made our list of 10, so I don't think we have to do it now. Gerrit, did people put in chat that they're done with their list of 10, that we all got it?
Yeah, we had quite a few come through say that they did their list of 10. So probably 10, 15, 20. And I'm assuming there's more that are maybe a little too nervous to post in that, but yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. So what are you going to do with that list? So the very first thing is we contact. And I just told you contact 3 a day, right? 3 a day, 5 days a week. So we contact. The next thing we do with the list, ready? Now you have a list. We invite. All we do is invite. So what are we going to invite people to? You're going to invite them to a link. How? You can go to the LifeWave app. There's a link. You can go to LifeWave YouTube channel. There are links there. Some people use some of the different team exposing sites. Use one of those. They're all open to whoever wants to use them. Awesome. You might want to share a story, your story, or you might go to a podcast or a YouTube and listen to someone else's story and share that. Invite to that. I like to say invite. We're using the right terms, okay? Contact, invite. That will help you get thinking. Invite to a link, invite to a story, invite to a gift. I'm always giving 2x39 and 2 eons to people, 2-day supply. I like those. I like those together. The dynamic duo, I think I pronounced that right. They work really great together. I think they're together. It's very experiential, in my opinion, and people notice something quicker. So anyway, I like that. And then invite to a patching party. I love patching parties. Patching parties can be virtual or they can be belly to belly. And what is it? We just talk about the technology. We patch everybody. We give a few sleeves away. It's a great time. We do some stories. Patching podcasts. Same concept, usually through Zoom. Obviously, it's a podcast where a patching party can be through Zoom virtual, or it can be live. I love belly to belly as well. They're both so important in our business. A patching podcast or a training podcast. So remember, think to yourself, I've made my list, and now where am I inviting my people to? Because what we want to do, did I do that? What we want to make sure we do, the invite is called third-party validation. We haven't really ever trained on that much. Relationship plus influence equals a perfect buying decision. You're the relationship with your list. Third-party validation could be a person or a technology, right? Or information. I'm not thinking of that right word. But and so it can be either. Why? Because you have the relationship, just like I had the relationship with my mother. But because my mother loves me so much, she thinks I can't possibly know anything. And so, of course, whatever I tell her isn't true because she loves me so much. It's just the way it works. Where influence is just that somebody or a technology, something you're inviting to, they don't know. And so it's influence only because they don't know them. It doesn't mean that's necessarily true. It's just the way humans work. So if I went and called somebody's friend, they would listen to me because I'm influenced, but they still wouldn't buy from me because I don't have the relationship. That's why they have to go together. Relationship plus influence equals a perfect buying decision. An example, you go to the store and go buy some clothes and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're not sure if you look cute and your girlfriend says you look great. Well, you love her, so she wants you to look fat. So then, right? I mean, it's sad, but true, because I love her. I know my friend wants me to look fat, so I don't trust her. Then the salesperson comes by, and she goes, "Oh, you look great." Between the two, all of a sudden, you're buying everything, right? Because that's relationship plus influence equals a perfect buying decision. So that is why if you have the contact, that's why you want to bring them into influence, which are all of these, which is really just not you. And let this do the work for you. Or that's what an upline would do with what you call a third-party validation call or a Zoom. That's the reason people do those. Once again, write it down. Relationship plus influence equals a perfect buying decision. But do you see the energy of this girl? People say yes when you have energy and when you direct them. If you go, "Oh, I think I found it. I don't know if you really have time tonight. I feel embarrassed to even call you." They'll say no. Command it with energy. People will follow that. So follow up with your people. How do you do that? Well, that's the third. So we contact, we invite, and we follow up. Can you do those 3 things? How hard is that? Contact, invite, and follow up. That's all you do all day long. That's all I do. I do that with people over and over and over and over and over again. Okay, and that's building a team. That's duplication. The same thing over again that everybody can duplicate. So use a follow-up script. Read it. My mentor said that what you want to be able to do is read things with people. I don't know. I just learned myself. Let's read it together. And that's what a script is for. You read it. I remember in another company, my mentor made a one-page script. And I had a big builder. And she went to Starbucks to meet another big builder. And she goes, I just learned about this 2 days ago. I don't know, but there's this piece of paper. Let's read it together. One signed up, the other one signed up just by reading together. I'm a firm believer in reading scripts. Kind of like, remember, once again, now we're back in kindergarten. Remember when the teacher took the book and they just read, you guys read the story together? Same thing. And just say, I don't know that much yet. Let's learn together. People love it. That. So find some follow-up scripts in your back office resource center. There's a lot of little scripts and little sheets on different products. You can read that together. We already talked about third-party validation. Take the order. I mean, I cannot tell you how many people don't take the order. Wholesale pack and auto ship. Wholesale pack and auto ship. Take the order. And I like auto ship. Auto ship's residual income. I'll tell you another story about that. I like to take an order. If somebody's going to give me their address and their credit card, I'm taking it. I had a guy 10 years ago. Oh, I wanted this natural vitamin so bad. I took my credit card out to give it to him to take the order. He said, let me send you a link. I said, no, I want it now. I don't want the link. Here's my credit card. No. Do you think I ever ordered it? I absolutely did not. I want people to serve me the way I serve others. Anyway, take the order. Then input the order. You go into your back office. It's either on your right side or your left side of your binary. You click the plus sign. You put the order in. The company drop ships to the person. And you've just generated income. That product introduction bonus. That's your first income. And those packs are also worth points. And when you do more and more of that, and you help your people do more and more of that, that income starts cycling and starts gen matching, and that's income. So, wow, that's the first part. Are we ready for the second part?
Yeah, the feedback and what we're seeing and hearing from reading, I should say, in the group is they are loving what you're sharing and certainly getting some great information. So yeah, I think it's time to take it to the next level.
Okay, so basically the first part of my slides was really, how do you start your business? How do you do it? What's the work? I just told you the work. And then to build a team, you get all your people doing the same work with you, and you create a container of accountability and love with Zooms. Zooms changed everything for me, because not only can you do podcasts and patching parties through Zoom and invite everybody, and you don't have to leave your home, but you can also go do that work I just told you, the 333 that I just told you. You can actually do it on Zoom together, so you're not alone. The reason most people don't do the work is because they need accountability, and it's mostly because of fear. It's scary, even for me, to pick up my phone or to text. I'd rather do my laundry, but when I go into a Zoom with my peers and we do it together, we're staring at each other in Zoom, we're all working our own phones, and we're not alone. It makes it feel like a real office. Oh, and I like to text and talk and talk and text. What do I mean by that? Call somebody, you better be texting them to book the next appointment. Why? Because they'll never call you back. They just don't anymore. But they'll text you back in 2 minutes and you can book something. That's why you need a calendar. If you text them, you better call them and say, hey, I just texted you, read that. Because if you don't, the text feels like spam. So it's very important. I always do the same. And people make fun of me because I have 3,145 texts on my phone. I never delete a text. And I know April Bond doesn't either. Why? I can look at a text from 10 years ago and it will remind me to trigger something. I know that texting and that phone is my money. Okay, so the soul of leadership. This is a great book, and I resonated because I think I like having a soul. And it is by Deepak Chopra. And that is where this next piece comes from. And this is also going to be a working session. So get your pen and paper out as well. So what is leadership? Well, leadership is a vision that starts your leadership journey. It must have great purpose and passion. Well, you already heard what my journey was. I was sick to healthy. And that gave me great purpose. I wanted to start sharing a health solution that could help others like it could help me. I also really wanted to train people to be financially free. I'll tell you a story, and this really resonates. I remember 5 years ago calling Mariah and sharing it with her. And I was a little nervous because the business I did before wasn't going well. And I said to her, I don't know. I want to do this, and I want you to do it with me. But I know the last one we kind of worked on together wasn't great. You know what she said to me? She said, Marci, you usually pick right. I'm in with you. And then she said, you don't understand what I've been going through. She said, when my husband passed away, I thought I was getting a pension, and it didn't work out. And I live in Alaska, and it's $800 a month for oil, and I don't have it. I cannot heat my house right now. Right there, I realized that we had a health solution and we had a financial solution. We could take people from financial instability to financial stability to financial freedom. And I knew how to train people to do that. I knew I had that ability. And so right there, I realized what my purpose is. And it is, my vision is to teaching financial freedom through health solution. My one-word purpose is I'm a teacher. So was my father for 30 years. He's a history teacher, the Romer Wing of Springfield, Oregon. And it was named after him. And for the first time, I told my dad, because I was at the house last week in Oregon helping my mom and dad, and I said, Dad, I realize I'm a teacher. I know I don't teach in a classroom, but I just realized I'm like you. I'm a teacher, and I love my dad. Like, I'm so proud to be like him. I'm a teacher. So with that, what is your vision? Write that down. And what is your one-word purpose? And I know we have to move on, so take a minute to write that down. And if you want to share any of those in chat, that would be great. Or I know you might need some time, take a picture of it and you can process this. I know we only have 10 minutes left, so I have to move a little fast, but that really helped me see who I am. How do you lead with your soul? Well, leaders are, you can take a picture of this. We look and listen. We emotionally bond. We are aware. We do the doing. We empower. We have responsibility, and we use synchronicity. Okay, everybody get a picture of that? What does that mean? Well, we're going to do some real life examples. Look and listen. Use your heart, senses, and be an unbiased observer. I'm going to give you a quick example of that. And then I want you to also answer, how are you listening to your team needs and adjusting for the good of the whole team? So here's an example. In our team, we were doing something like 20 podcasts a week, and it was a lot. And we were all loving it. We have a team that all likes to help. Isn't that wonderful? But we had so many that people were getting confused. And so the leaders came to me and they said, we've got to tighten it up. It's too much. People don't know what to invite to anymore. It's got out of control. And so we had to give some up. And I even gave up some that I just loved. And we went from 20 to 8 for podcasts, for trainings. And then some people were upset because they are not being able to do their podcast anymore. And so the answer was, we're trying to do our best for the whole of the team and do your own patching parties now. So then we just move people to do their own and make it a patching party, because that duplicates. And a lot of people need patches on their body. Patching party does it, or a virtual patching party. So we moved there, and our podcast went from about 250 a day to 350. And we even have one that's hitting 800 a day. And so we doubled our podcast by making it tighter. And those are big decisions. And sometimes it's hard to be the leader, right? It's hard to hurt people's feelings. It's hard. So how are you listening to your team needs and adjusting for the good of the whole team? Okay, and take a picture of that. You can think about that. Emotional bonding. Move away from crisis and drama and clearly understand your needs and others. So my example on that is I've been in companies before, network marketing companies that were run with power and ego, and I hated them. I didn't want to go. I used to go to this call every week, and my stomach would turn because I didn't fit. And when Peter and I started this 5 years ago, we said, we are only doing this business if we can do it without power and ego. And then he said, well, what do we want to be? And I said, I want to work hard, I want to love, and I want to have fun. So that comes from the top down. If the top down is that, your team will be that. If the top down is not that, your team will be whatever you are. So what do you want to be? And what energy do you want to have? And how does that affect your team? Okay, write that down. Awareness. Who am I? Awareness. This is interesting. And I really had to read this a couple times to really process this. Aware of questions that underline every challenge. Who am I? What do I want? What does the situation demand? Ask for yourself and inspire your team to ask the same questions. Sometimes what you want is best for the whole team, right? Because you know you want it. So if it's good for you, it's going to be good for everybody. I know that I never want to ever email a PDF. So I make stuff that's link-based because I text and talk and talk and text. I'm hoping the rest of the team likes it, as an example. Another example would be, I realized that we had no recognition system, really. And I realized I want to be recognized, and so does everybody. So we created something called the Leaders Club that recognizes everybody from executive to presidential to senior presidential director. And then we made like a cute little template that anybody can make it, so it duplicates fast. What that did is it got everybody excited to go up in rank and be posted. And also it made everybody go, oh, we ourselves need to recognize our team for manager, director, senior director on our group Facebook page or Telegram. So recognition became a very big part of our of what we do. And what was interesting is I'm using Carol a lot, but we were in Arizona just last week, and Carol McDonough goes, oh my gosh, I use the Leader Club all the time. I go, why? How? She goes, new business builders that I want to bring into the business. I just take them there. I click on it and I say, you can tell this company's in momentum. Look at all the people that have been rank advancing. She uses that as a way to recruit. I thought that was brilliant. So Marci's example. So your question, what team challenges are you aware of right now? Who are you and what would you want? What actions does the situation demand from you? Action. Leaders must be action-oriented by serving as a role model, holding themselves responsible for promises made while viewing all situations with flexibility and humor. You do have to laugh. Trust me, you do have to laugh. So what's some examples of that? Well, for me personally, this is where my personal work goal is the same as yours. Well, I work more, but what the personal work goal, you just say the 10 hours a week, right? How many hours a week is that? Well, you know what? I do an accountability office 2 days a week, Monday and Tuesdays. We have 130 people on there every Monday and Tuesday. We all invite 10. Every Monday and Tuesday, we invite them to something. 130, well, that's a lot. 130 times 10 invites. How much is that, Peter? I don't think I did the numbers. 10 times 130. So that's 10 times 1,300. That's 1,300 invites going out in 1 hour. So that's a lot of people doing a little bit of work in 1 hour. Okay, I get people working, doing what I just told you in 1 hour. Now, if you actually had that same 130 people, right, doing that work, like I told you, the 10 hours a week, that would be 1,300 hours a week. Most people only work 40 hours a week. Do you understand what leverage is? I just told you, 130 people each doing 10 hours. That's 1,300 hours a week. All I'm doing is trying to get a group of people doing a little bit of work together all at the same time. That is leverage. That is leverage. So that's my personal goal, is that. And then my other goal, now this might be a little bigger, but my personal goal is, if it's not going to freak people out, is I want 6 $100,000 lines. I'm almost at 3. I want 6. And basically, I want 10 of my SPDs in my organization each to have $300,000 lines. And right now I can tell you how many people have it. I got 3. Let's see. I have 2 SPDs that have 3, 1 SPD that has 4, and 1 SPD that has 6. So those are 4 SPDs that have $300,000 lines or more in my organization. I have 4, and I want 10. So that's bigger goals, but you can see, like, you want to have goals for yourself and goals for your team. So once again, what's your personal goal? How many hours a week do you want to work? Where are you at achieving that goal? What is your team's work goal? And where is your team at achieving it? And how are you going to be a role model for the work? What are you doing? What are you doing to be a role model? Like I said, I work 2 days a week, Monday and Tuesday. I train for an hour, and I take that 130 people and I work them for an hour. I do that on Mondays and Tuesdays. I am doing the work that I think is right, and I ask you to do it with me. Do you understand? That is the accountability that I'm talking about. All right, that's the doing. Empowerment. Okay, empowerment. Gerrit, we have like 2 more slides. Do we have time, or do we have to end right at 11?
We can take a few more minutes.
Okay, we're almost done. Empowerment. Empowerment is self-awareness, responsive feedback, but independent of good or bad opinions of others. You know, that's really important, because you need to empower your team. And sometimes you're going to do that, and then some people aren't going to like what you do. And sometimes you just have to step back and say, everybody's not going to like me. And, I was the girl that, I was raised by my dad where you're social, and I was not raised. I did not care if I got A's in high school. He wanted me to be social. He cared if I said hello to everybody at the parties we had, right? I was raised to be a people pleaser. So sometimes having someone have a bad opinion of me is hard. It's hard for me, right? And so I have to step back and go, not everybody's going to love me, but I'm a leader, and it's the way it is. So what's a good example of that? Well, a good example of that is that I have all these big teams, and they're ready to be independent and soar. And I can't hold them back. I got to let them soar. I have given them a exposing site and a business site, but they're going to want to train their system their own way. And I can't control that. I just want to love them and say, you go do it. You use what you want that I've created, but this is your baby, and I'm proud of you, right? All right. Responsibility, right and wrong. Choosing considered risk rather than reckless. Walking the talk, having integrity, and living up to your inner values. Responsible for leading the group to a higher path of consciousness. I'm just going to be honest. Responsibility. We have an exposing site and a business site, and with all the changes in what we can and can't say, that was a responsibility to be safe for the company and safe for my team. And I took that very seriously. And in 48 hours, we changed everything, because I needed to make sure that we were being responsible. All our invites are now power of the patch. Nothing else, right? As an example. Lastly, synchronicity. Create good luck by finding the invisible support that carries one to a higher plane. Connect any need with the answer from the soul. So for me, Peter and I talked about this 5 years ago, and he said, we really want a solid system of duplication. What are we going to do? And I said, let's pray about it. And what came back to us is a solid podcast schedule, a solid exposing site, and a solid business site. That's what came to me. And then I just prayed. I just asked. And then we just started creating with joy. And it's interesting. I was talking to a woman in Arizona, and she said to me, Marci, how did you create your system? Did you get it from Eric Worre's Go Pro book? And I said, no. She goes, oh. I go, I had a great mentor for 10 years, and I was on the job trained by this woman. And in addition, I prayed to God and I asked, what are we supposed to do? And those two things came together. She goes, well, your training looks just like his book. I said, awesome. So anyway, thank you so much, Gerrit. That is the end of my presentation.
Well, thank you so much. And I think it speaks volumes about why you've been able to reach the levels that you have, and understanding that it is about the work. And I want to share some statistics, if you're okay with that. We mentioned on a call earlier that I'm a numbers person. But when we look at you and your team, you've got 46 senior presidential directors on your team, 26 presidential directors, 50 executive directors, 105 senior directors, 777 directors, and 4,295 managers.
Oh, wow.
So that's, I mean, just think about all the lives that have changed. And those are just the ones who've reached a rank. And of course, many, customers and others who are just loving the products. And so the impact that you've had is absolutely huge. It's amazing. And so we're so grateful. And of course, the information you've given today, I think is definitely been very popular. We usually try to take a few minutes at the end to answer a few questions. And we just don't have time for that today. But I think, I'll be honest with you, most of the questions that came through were answered at some other point within your presentation. They're like, what do I say? Where do I go? And then it's like you talk about the scripts and stuff. And so I think we were able to answer most of the questions and get through everything. But what great information. I hope everyone took good notes of this. Marci, thank you so much for everything you've shared with us today, the impact that you continually have on LifeWave. And certainly we feel very blessed that you're a member of the LifeWave family. So thanks again.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Take care.